All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving into something pretty fascinating and maybe a little bit creepy, depending on how you look at it. We're talking about DeepFace.
DeepFace, yeah.
Which is Meta's, or I guess formerly Facebook's, facial recognition technology. I think we've all probably encountered it in some form or another, right? Like Facebook suggesting who to tag in photos, things like that.
Oh, absolutely. I think anyone who uses Facebook has probably had that experience where, you upload a photo and suddenly, bam, there's a box around someone's face and it's suggesting a name.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like, is that just a cool feature? Or is that something, a lot bigger? Like, is this a big deal? Or is this just like, oh, neat, Facebook can recognize my friends?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question, isn't it? Because on the one hand, it's convenient, right? It saves you time and helps you organize your photos. But on the other hand, it raises these questions about privacy and surveillance and, like, where's the line?
Right. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. Is DeepFace a huge technological leap forward? Or is it, the start of some kind of digital nightmare?
It's a good question, yeah. And to really understand it, we need to look at how it works, what the potential benefits are, and of course, what the risks might be.
Yeah, for sure. So what exactly is DeepFace? Like, how does it actually work? When it sees a face, how does it know who that person is?
Okay, so DeepFace is based on what are called convolutional neural networks, or CNNs for short. And these are basically complex algorithms that can analyze images, breaking them down into layers and patterns.
Okay, so it's not just like matching a photo to another photo, right?
No, it's much more sophisticated than that. What it does is, first it detects that there is a face in the image, and then it starts analyzing all the unique features of that face, like the distance between your eyes, the shape of your nose, the curve of your jawline, even things like skin texture and, those subtle things that make your face unique.
So it's basically creating like a super detailed map of your face, right?
Exactly. It's like a digital fingerprint, but for your face. And then what it does is compare that map to a huge database of other faces that it has stored. And if it finds a match, boom, it identifies that person.
Wow, that's pretty amazing and kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah, the technology is incredibly impressive and the accuracy is really high. We're talking about 97% accuracy.
97%, that's like almost as good as humans.
Yeah, exactly. It's on par with human facial recognition capabilities, and that's why this technology is so powerful.
So we know it started with Facebook and tagging friends in photos, but it's obviously gone way beyond that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think about all the applications, security systems, surveillance, even things like personalized advertising. Imagine walking down the street and a billboard recognizes you and shows you an ad targeted specifically to you.
That's both cool and kind of terrifying. So let's break it down. What are some of the benefits of DeepFace? Like, where is it actually making a positive impact?
Okay, so one area where it's proving to be really useful is in security and law enforcement. Think about airports, for example. They're using facial recognition to verify identities, making sure the person boarding the plane is actually who they say they are.
Right, makes sense.
And banks are using it to prevent fraud, so you can log into your account using your face instead of a password. It's a lot harder to steal someone's face than to hack their password.
Yeah, definitely. What about, finding missing persons or identifying criminals? That's something that's been talked about a lot, right?
Absolutely. There was a case in India a few years ago where police used facial recognition to identify thousands of missing children in a matter of days. It was incredible. And they've also used it to track down criminals, matching faces from security footage to known offenders.
That's amazing. Those are some really compelling examples of how this technology can be used for good.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it has the potential to be a powerful tool for solving crimes, protecting people, and even reuniting families. But, there's the other side of the coin, too.
Right, the potential downsides.
Exactly.
Let's talk about those. What are some of the concerns people have about DeepFace?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is privacy. Think about it. Your face is basically your identity. And with this technology, companies like Facebook are able to build these massive databases of our faces, and they can use that information in ways that we may not even be aware of.
Right, and like you said earlier, we may not even know how that information is being used or who has access to it.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the potential for abuse by governments, using facial recognition for mass surveillance. Imagine a world where your every move is tracked by cameras that can identify you instantly.
That sounds straight out of a dystopian sci-fi movie.
Right. And it's not that far-fetched. We're already seeing it happen in some countries where governments are using facial recognition to monitor citizens, track their movements, even identify people who are attending protests.
It's pretty chilling. And what about the potential for hacking or misuse by criminals?
Yeah, that's another huge concern. I mean, what happens if someone hacks into one of these facial recognition databases? They could steal your identity, access your bank accounts, even unlock your phone.
Or create those deepfakes we've been hearing so much about.
Exactly. Deepfakes are super realistic fake videos that are created using AI. And they can be used to spread misinformation, damage reputations, all sorts of nefarious things.
And how do you even know what's real anymore?
That's the problem. It's getting harder and harder to distinguish between what's real and what's fake. And that's a huge problem, especially when it comes to things like news and information.
Right. So we've got these amazing potential benefits, but also these really serious risks. What does the future hold for deepfakes and facial recognition in general? Where do you see this technology going?
Well, it's definitely a technology that's here to stay. And we're going to see it become more and more integrated into our lives, whether we like it or not.
So more cameras, more surveillance, more data being collected.
Yeah, I think that's inevitable. But the big question is, how do we balance the benefits with the risks? How do we make sure that this technology is used responsibly and ethically?
Right, because it does feel like there's this tension between wanting the convenience and the security that this technology can offer, but also wanting to protect our privacy and our freedom.
Absolutely. And that's where regulation comes in. Governments around the world are starting to grapple with these issues, trying to figure out how to regulate facial recognition technology, how to protect people's rights while also allowing for innovation.
So it's a complex issue with no easy answers.
Yeah, for sure. But it's a conversation that we need to be having because the decisions we make now about facial recognition technology are going to have a huge impact on our future.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into deepfakes, it's clear that this is a technology that's full of both promise and peril.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a powerful tool that can be used for good or for bad. And it's up to us to decide how we want to use it and how we want to be governed by it.
So we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on deepfakes and facial recognition? Do you think the benefits outweigh the risks? What kind of regulations do you think we need?
You can find us on Twitter. We're at your podcast handle. And feel free to leave a comment on whatever platform you're using to listen to the show. We want to know what you think.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to the show and leave a review. It really helps other people find us.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Deep Dive, where we explore the unseen forces shaping our world.
Stay curious, stay informed, and until next time, keep those thinking caps on.
Yeah, because when it comes to facial recognition, there's a lot to think about. I mean, imagine a world where your face is your key, your ID, your passport, even your currency. Is that a future you're comfortable with? Or does it feel like a step too far?
That's a great question to leave you with. Think about it and let us know what you think.